Hello, today we're looking at doing a couple of sketches on Geometer Sketchpad, or at least one. We're going to look at Lesson 2 in Geometry Module 1. We'll look at the Exploratory Challenge. That's Exploratory Challenge 2 on page 18. And it looks like we're going to go ahead and construct a regular hexagon inscribed inside a circle. So we're just going to go ahead and do that in the Sketchpad. Let me just go ahead and switch over to Sketchpad for a second there. We've got a fresh sketch open. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start out with circle K, center at K. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on my compass tool, pick any point, click, hold, and drag to any comfortable radius. So that seems pretty good. And then I'm going to go ahead and label that as K. So I'm going to turn on the label tool, click over here. I'm going to go click on the center of the circle. It wants to label it up as A. I'm just going to go ahead and double click on it so that I can change it so that it's K as is requested. So now we have that match. It goes ahead and asks me to pick a point on the circle. What I like to do is go use my point tool. So click on that. I'm going to move it over somewhere on the circle. And to match the picture, I'll put it over here. And I can tell it's on the circle because the circle highlights in red. I'm going to go ahead and click when it's over there. Now I'll go ahead and label that point. So I'm going to click on the labeling tool. It wants to label it B. I'm just going to double click, relabel it A so that it matches, and have that. It asked me to draw a circle A with radius AK. So let me go ahead and get that compass tool back. The Sketchpad always remembers the previous tool that you had. So I'm just going to go ahead and mouse over so that that A kind of highlights so I know the center's at A. I'm going to go click and hold and drag over to K so that I know that I have a circle of radius AK, and release. And it asks me to label those points of intersection of the two circles here and here as B and F, with B on the top. So I have a couple of options. I like to go ahead and just click on my point tool and manually do that. So if I go ahead and move my point tool over one of the circles and then the other circle, I can kind of see how they're both highlighted there. So I know that point is at that intersection. That's how I like to do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that point there. I'll do the same thing down here. Make sure they're both highlighted. Click. Another way I could have done it is I could have just used my selection tool. So I click on the selector tool. If I click out so that I don't have anything at all selected, I'll click on one circle so you can see it's highlighted and selected. I'll hold down Shift because I like to hold down Shift when I select multiple things. I have both circles selected. I could go up here to construct, and intersections is a choice, and it would have plotted both of those points for me. But either way, it's all good. So I'm just going to go ahead and label those points as it requested. So it asked me to label this point B. So I'm going to double click, call it B. I'm going to go ahead and double click on this one. It wants to label it D, but I'm going to label it F as requested. And I'm going to say OK to that. So I have those points. Then I'm going to kind of go ahead and repeat iteratively until we complete the hexagon. So let me just go ahead and get the compass tool. We'll start a circle centered at B with radius K. So I go ahead and click there, and I'll find the point of intersection. Let me get the point tool back. Go ahead and find this intersection right there. I'm going to go ahead and label that point C. Oops, no, got that C. I'll say OK. I'm going to pause the video for a second so that I can finish up the rest of them, and then we'll rejoin after the other points are taken care of. So be right back. Okay, we're back. As you can see, I went ahead and just kind of completed the rest of those drawing circles, such as circle D with radius DK, and formed the other points. And then I just also completed the other circles just so I can get this pretty cool flower pattern in the middle. But really, for the most part, we're almost done with the sketch. Let me just go ahead and use the segment tool. So a couple of different ways I can select those. I could select all my points, which is probably a quick way to do it if I select all my points and construct segments. But I like to do it the manual way. So I'm going to click on my tool, make sure I have just the segment tool selected. I'm going to mouse over point A so that I can see it highlighted. Click on A, and then I let go of the mouse. Move up to B, so B is highlighted. I've constructed segment AB. I'm going to do the same thing. Click on B, go to C, C to D, D to E, click there, D to E, and E to F, and then F, F back to A, F back to A. And that went ahead and completed the sketch. I'm going to go ahead and notice how my last segment that I drew is still selected. I'm going to click out here, and just so that it kind of stands out a little better, I'm just going to go ahead and hide a bunch of these circles. I'm going to click on, say, circle A. I'm going to hold down Shift because I like to hold down Shift when I'm selecting more than one thing. I can tell what I'm selecting because the arrow kind of turns to the right. It kind of becomes that right pointer. So I'm just going to hold down Shift and click on that. I like to hold down Shift because if I tend to do things in a hurry, and if I accidentally miss and click out here, it doesn't deselect everything on me. So as long as I'm holding down Shift, that doesn't happen. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the rest of these circles, like so. I'm going to go up to the Display menu, and I'm going to hide those circles. So now you can really see that we have a hexagon inscribed, a regular hexagon inscribed in a circle. And if I wanted to do this multiple times, what I might be interested in doing is maybe kind of creating my own tool with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and use the selector tool. I'm going to select everything I see up here. I'm going to go down to this bottom custom tool option. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I'm going to create a new tool. And I'm going to call it, I don't know, Reg Hex. So for inscribed regular hexagon. And I'm going to say OK to that. And I've gone ahead and I've created a new tool with those. So anytime I want to create an inscribed regular hexagon, I could go ahead and do all those steps I just did. Or I could maybe reopen this document. I could even use some of my points and go ahead and dynamically kind of change the shape of these. I can even try and move some of my other points. They're all kind of locked together in some way because of the construction, so clicking on different points will do different things. But if I do move this out of the way, say for a second, I'm going to go ahead and use that tool we just created. So I'm going to click on this custom tool. And I'm going to use this one, the inscribed regular hexagon that we just went ahead and created. So let's go ahead and see what I can do with that. So automatically just kind of click, held, and drag, and I'm going ahead and creating another one of those. So that's kind of a pretty cool way to do a custom tool as well. All right, well that kind of completed this sketch. We'll do another one soon.